Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4, and we will be reporting about our chosen topic, which is gender and sexuality online. But before we start, let me give you a friendly reminder that this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinas, to use this as an educational material. So without further ado, let's start and hope you will enjoy and learn something from our report.
So my topic for today is definition of gender. So what is gender? Gender, while associated with sex, is a separate aspect of an individual. It is ultimately the result of a person's relation to their society's understanding of gendered groups. Gender identity is defined as a personal conception of oneself as male, female, both or neither. Gender refers to the societal and cultural expectations for behavior, attitudes, and roles of individuals. Based on their perceived sex at birth, it is a complex and multifaceted concept, influenced by a variety of factors such as socialization, biology, and culture. Gender expression and identity may take various forms, including cisgender. Cisgender is identifying with the sex assigned at birth. Transgender, meaning identifying with a different gender than the sex assigned at birth. And non-binary, it means identifying as neither binary gender. Gender is often used interchangeably with the term sex, which refers to the biological distinction between male and female, typically dependent on reproductive organs and chromosomes. However, it is essential to distinguish between the two terms. While sex is determined biologically, gender is a social construct that varies across cultures and societies. Gender expectations may change over time, affecting how individuals perceive themselves and their roles in society. Understanding the complexities of genders and its various forms is crucial to promoting inclusivity, diversity, and equity in society.
Greetings everyone. So I would like to tackle about definition of sexuality. So what is the definition of sexuality? A person's identity in relation to the gender or genders to which they are typically attracted, sexual orientation. Sexually refers to a person's sexual orientation, preferences, behaviors, and identity. It is a complex and multifaceted aspects of human life, encompasses a range of physical, emotional, and social experiences related to sexual attraction, desire, arousal, and intimacy. Sexuality can be influenced by a variety of factors, including biological, psychological, cultural, and social factors, and it can vary widely between individuals and across cultures. It is important to note that sexuality is not limited to heterosexual behavior, but can include a wide range of sexual orientations and identities, including lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, like LGBT plus Q identities. It also includes all the feelings, thoughts, and behaviors of being female or male, being attractive, and being in love, as well as being in relationships that include sexual intimacy and physical sexual activity.
I'm Ella Maris Bacchus, and I'm gonna talk about the difference between gender and sexuality. To understand the difference between gender and sexuality, it's helpful to know what each term means. So, what is a gender? Gender is socially constructed one's innermost concept of themselves as a man, woman, or non-binary person. People define their gender identity in a variety of deeply personal ways that can include man or woman, but can also extend to identities such as agender, gender fluid, gender non-conforming, and a variety of others. And what is sexuality? Sexuality refers to who a person is attracted to and can include a plethora of orientations. While being gay, heterosexual, and bisexual are perhaps the most well-known sexual orientations, there are many others, such as asexual and pansexual. Gender and sexuality are often assumed to be related concepts, but in reality, they are separate and distinct. Understanding the difference between gender versus sexuality is important because, while both are important parts of an individual's sense of self, if you don't know what each one is, you may make incorrect assumptions. There are many different ways that people describe themselves. People who identify as having no specific gender may use terms such as genderqueer, gender neutral, gender fluid, or gender diverse to indicate they feel they don't fit into traditional gender categories of male or female. Gender diverse people may be gay, lesbian, bisexual, or heterosexual, may choose to identify as queer or describe their sexual identity in other terms.
Greetings everyone. My topic is all about what is gender and sexuality online. The Gender Sexuality Online Studies Department provides you with a solid grounding in the interconnected, interdisciplinary fields of gender, sexuality, and queer studies and engaged these fields from a variety of perspectives: religious, economic, political, social, biological, physiological, historical, anthropological, artistic, and literary. Gender and sexual studies trains you to examine gender relations and the construction of gender and sexual difference from a globally informed perspective, and to consider how gender and sexuality intersect with the social categories of race, class, ethnicity, disability, and age to produce or conflict social identities. While integrating theoretical concept and empirical knowledge, gender and sexuality majors and minors learn to practice the critical thinking about issues of gender and sexual identity, and to develop the strong research, communication, and right skills.
Hi everyone, my name is Johnny Bibukal, and today let's talk about gender and sexuality online. So gender is already discussed. Gihatag na ni Bako, so no need na. Sabitan na dyan na to unsa ng gender. So this is this topic is all about gender stereotyping. So let me explain first. So stereotyping is according to Cardwell. So stereotyping is a fixed over generated belief about a particular group of class of people. So gender stereotyping exists in the offline environment, so which are the root of equality between a man and woman and the LGBTQ+. So the origin of gender violence are also present in the online world. So the internet influence stereotyping. So the internet plays a essential role in the shaping our conception of the world. So our opinions and our values. So sexuality as a developmental issue is present throughout the life cycle, but it becomes especially science during adolescence, and adolescents have to adjust to their developing sexuality, in particular their increase sexual drive, intersex, and the task of constructing their sexual selves. And so maoro to guys, thank you.
So my topic is gender and sexuality online culture. Anthropologists are fond of pointing out that much of what we take for granted as natural in our life is actually cultural. It is not grounded in the natural world or in biology, but invented by humans. Because culture is invented, it takes different forms in different places and changes over time in those places living in 21st century. We have witnessed how rapidly and grammatically culture can be changed, from ways of communicating to the emergence of same-sex marriage. Similarity, many of us live in same-sex marriage. Similarity of many of us lives in culturally diverse settings and experience how varied human cultural invention can be. We readily accept the clothing, language, and music are cultural, invented, created, and alterable, but often find it difficult to access that gender and sexuality are natural but deeply embedded in a shaped by culture. We struggle with ideas that the divisions of humans into two and only categories, male and female, is not universal, that take different forms and have different meaning cross-culturally. Similarity, human sexuality, rather than being simply natural, is one of the most culturally significant.
My topic is what are the advantages of gender and sexuality online. Gender and sexuality online are centrally important forces that shape every aspect of our lives. We know our bodies, minds, and selves through our gender and our sex. As a society, legal definitions and social expectations about women and men, sex and reproduction organize our medical, legal, educational, and political system. Sexuality is central to our self-identity, and being able to express this is damaging to our sense of self-worth and overall mental health. Sexuality is an integral part of being human, and our gender identity tells who we truly are as a person. And also by this, we can show our love, affection, and sexual intimacy contribute to healthy relationships and individual well-being. What are advantages of gender and sexuality? Gender equality makes our community safer and healthier. Unequal societies are less cohesive. They have higher rates of antisocial behavior and violence. Countries with greater gender equality are more connected. Their people are healthier and have a bit better well-being. Sexual activity with a partner or through masturbation can provide important psychological and emotional benefits. Like exercise, sex can help reduce stress and anxiety and increase happiness. Studies suggest that sexual activity defined as PVI correlate with increased satisfaction with your mental health, increased levels of trust, intimacy, and love in your relationships, improve ability to perceive, identify, and express emotions, lessen use of your immature psychological defense mechanism or the mental processes to reduce stress from emotional conflict.
Alongside of the positive effects of gender and sexuality online, there's also disadvantages of it. And we're going to discuss the disadvantages of gender and sexuality online. First on my list is discrimination. So in terms of coming out, many people will discriminate you, criticize you because of your weird gender identity, or because of your chosen gender identity, or to that one person. And one is depression. If, for example, if you are not accepted by your family, friends, or whoever, it will make you depressed, and that will affect your mental health. Third is too much sexual affection or obsession that can lead into illegal things. One of the best examples for that is rape. Lastly, sexual exposure online, which increases the possibility of depression that will lead to a suicidal actions.
Good day once again. I am Maria's Madeline, and I will be reporting my topic, which is what does gender have to do with digital identity, and how does gender affect your online experience? So first off, let's start with the question, what does gender have to do with digital identity? So how does gender affect our experience of the modern digital world we live in? Online spaces reflect offline realities with the added consequences of permanence, a wider audience, and increased visibility. We all have our different digital challenges and experiences, but gender brings an added layer online just as it does offline. There are various privacy, security, and digital identity issues, perceptions, and experiences related to the identified gender of the user, which can have both personal and professional effects. So, one of the benefits of technology and the internet is the provision of safe spaces and avenues for usually marginalized communities and persons to express themselves, find the information they need, and even create their own platforms. Although the virtual world should be a space where everyone can have a safe and pleasant experiences without being affected by the limitations, constraints, and challenges they face in real life. One of the identified problems of this space is that it is not usually designed with this in mind. So it is important to think about how online spaces are impacted by gender norms and how this shapes interactions. So next, let us go on to our next topic, which is how does gender affect your online experience? So as technology evolves, women and other marginalized groups increasingly report feeling unsafe, although some of this is beginning to change as women take control of their online activities and are increasingly becoming online creators. Studies show that they face a higher level of harassment and bullying online, even as they seek to use these spaces to express themselves, connect with their communities, and get information. So, the complexity of identity and sexuality and how social norms influence our behaviors, expectations, and possibilities is heightened by the role of social media and impacting our understanding of gender and sexuality. Social media can be a window of opportunity for learning about these aspects of identity, but also a means to reinforce stereotypes and create double standards concerning how people of different genders should behave. It is also important to note that online platforms now play a decisive role in the lives of young people and in the development of new ways of expressing identity and sexuality. So, according to a report by the Pew Research Center, although women and men have been logging on in equal numbers since 2000, the vilest communications still disproportionately target women. They are more likely to be stalked and harassed on the internet and sometimes face the added risk of this becoming physical, where feminine usernames incurred an average of 100 sexually implicit or threatening messages a day. Masculine names received 3.7 of 3,787 people who reported harassing incidents from 2000 to 2012 to volunteer organization working to halt online abuse. So there are 72.5% were female who were abused online. So women have the higher risk of being harassed than men. So this does not mean that men are not also subject to online harassment, but the difference lies in the scale and type, whereas men might be subject to name calling, derision, and physical threats. A study found that online, women are more than twice as likely as men to experience sexual harassment alongside all of those. So there are more than half of women between the ages of 18 and 29 report having been sent sexually explicit images without their consent, and this number continues to grow. So an important question starting to arise is how these are measured and distributed as gender norms evolve. So in our society nowadays, especially our teens nowadays, especially that we are now connected too much with social media, we cannot say that men and women are the same. They're treated the same way online. Me as a woman, it is really hard for us to post these kinds of pictures online because we can't have a normal life like without anyone commenting on our pictures and so on and so forth. So it is risky for women, especially women and teens nowadays, to post something online because of harassment and bullying. So we suggest that we should have a equality online. So men or women, we should be treated normally. We should be treated equally because we also have our rights to be respected. Our decisions should be respected because we respect others' decisions in life, like whatever they post. Some we don't, judge them. So we just want the same thing for us to experience online.